In everyday life, names are widely used to refer to people, objects, and geographical locations. For example, instead of saying the city lying at an altitude of 40.7128 degrees north and a longitude of 74.0059 degree west, you simply say New York City. Similarly, in Microsoft Excel, you can give a human readable name to a single cell or a range of cells and refer to those cells by names rather than just by reference. For instance, to find the total sales of B2 till B10 for a specific item E1, you can use the following formula, which is the form. In this formula you can see there's a function called sum if and then the rest of the things. Or you can instead give meaningful names to the ranges and individual cells and supply those names to the formula like this. So if you see here, so we use the same function, and instead of those ranges we have given the names, which are items underscore list, item, and sales. Looking at the screen, which of the two formulas do you think are easier for you to understand? Now, the obvious answer is the second one. Now, the question is how to create an Excel named range. Overall, there are three ways to identify or define a name in Excel, and they are name box, define name button, and Excel name manager. Let's first understand the first method, which is through name box. The name box in Excel is the fastest way to create a named range. Select a range of cells or maybe just a cell that you want to name, and we will select the item range, in our case from A2 to A10. Now you type a name into the name box. Let's say I write item underscore list. Press the enter key and voila, a new Excel name range is created. Well, isn't that easy? Let's look at another way of doing it, which is uh, the define name button. So another way to make a named range in Excel is this. So what you can do or what you need to do is select the cells on the formulas tab in the define name group, click the define name button. In the new name dialog box, specify three things. In the name box, type the range name. I write item underscore list. In the scope drop down, set the name scope, which is workbook by default. In the refers to box, check the reference and correct it if needed. And as we can see, it is same sheet number mentioned and also the range is same. So you just go ahead and click OK to save the changes and then close the dialog box. Compared to the previous method, using define name in Excel takes a few extra clicks, few extra steps, but it also provides a couple of more options such as setting the name's scope and adding a comment that explains something about the name. Additionally, Excel's define name feature allows you to create a name for a constant or a formula. We can also make name range from name manager. Usually, the name manager in Excel is used to work with existing names. However, it can really help you build a new name too. Here's how it's done. Go to the Formulas tab, then the Define Names group, and click the Name Manager. In the top left-hand corner of the Name Manager dialog window, click the New button. This will open up the New Name dialog box where you can configure a name as demonstrated in the previous section. You can edit or delete existing name ranges from the name manager as well. You can simply go to the name manager and select the name range and then click delete and then click OK. If your data is arranged in a tabular form, you can quickly create names for each column and or row based on their labels. Select the entire table, including the column and row headers. Go to the Formulas tab, and then the Define Names group. The Create Names from Selection dialog box will open. You select the column or the row with headers or both. In our case, we will select on the basis of headers, so we'll select the top header and then click OK. When creating a name in Excel, there are a few rules that you need to remember. An Excel name should be under 255 characters long. I mean, should not be beyond these many characters, which is 255. Excel names cannot contain spaces and most punctuation characters. A name must begin with a letter, underscore, or backslash. If a name begins with anything else, Excel will throw an error. Excel names are case insensitive. For example, apples with an uppercase A or a lowercase a, or the all the letters are in uppercase or all the letters are in lowercase, doesn't really matter. Excel will treat everything just the same. You cannot name ranges like cell references. That is, you cannot give the name A1 or AA1 to a range. It has to be a proper name. You can use a single letter to name a range like single letter A or B or D, etc., except for the letters lowercase r, lowercase c, uppercase c. These characters are used as shortcuts for selecting rows and columns for the currently selected cell. So when you type them in the name box, they will have a different meaning. So these are like already used by Excel for some other purposes. So you cannot give these names.